The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, Marshall Reddick real estate members. My name is Tanya. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'd like to take a moment to talk about recent events. I know that the majority of you that are on this call live received an email from us from marketing that was created over a month ago. Just wanted to take a moment to recognize the recent events that have happened in Austin. And, we just wanted to clear the air and send our thoughts and prayers to families that were impacted by this event. So, welcome to our webinar. We're here to talk about the Austin market and real estate investment opportunities and all the growth that has been going on in this market for quite some time, as it's been a top candidate for news topics, real estate headlines of growth and why companies are relocating there. So I'm very excited. We have Seth here with us. I'm going to introduce him shortly, and he is our area expert, and he's going to talk about all the different markets of Austin and suburbs. So let's see here. So heading on. Let's go ahead. If you guys can please do a sound check with me. In the chat bar, please do say, I can hear you, I can see your screen, hello, all that fun stuff. That would be amazing. Awesome. Okay, you guys, can you guys see my thank you? If you guys can please respond all, that would be fantastic, just to make sure that I can. Thank you. Thanks, Haroon. Okay, perfect. Hey, Giza. Okay, I see a lot of my regular clients on here. So great to see you. Okay, we have a lot of people on this evening. So a little bit about me. I've been with the company for over 5 years. I'm a licensed real estate broker here in California. I've been mentoring our investors. I've helped, as you can see, over 400 people with successful transactions, purchases, sales, teaching classes on how to invest in strategy and reviewing portfolios. It's a lot of fun. I grew up in real estate, so I help people buy and sell locally as well as out of state. So as you can see, we are a licensed brokerage as Marshall Reddick, and that's how we're able to help people across the United States invest. We have private money lending. What that means is I do these regularly. It is a way for you to make anywhere from 7.5% to 12% on your funds that you lend out on a secured asset like real estate. You basically act as the bank. Also, if you cannot qualify for a conventional loan, we have these tools available to you to borrow at these rates for said periods of time, short term to up to 30 years. The rates and terms vary. A lot of people are able to buy through their self-directed IRAs using this. So lots of fun tools that we can discuss. And we are also licensed property managers. We have everything. We're a one-stop shop. So what that means is anything that you would need for a real estate transaction, we have such said vendors as you see here. So CPAs, insurance, real estate, property managers, everything that you would need. So what I do as a real estate advisor is I help people set their investing criteria. So everybody's reasons to invest are different. No one person has the same goals and or time frame. So we basically figure out when you're looking to retire, what that means to you, how real estate can help you, how much experience do you have? Do you, want to jump into a 50-unit apartment complex? Probably not for your first time. We recommend starting small and building up. What's your risk tolerance? The further down that heat chart you see at the bottom, the more risky the tenant client base is, so therefore it's a more risky investment for you. And what can you qualify for? What can you afford? I walk you through all of those steps so that you're not just running around in circles trying to figure out where to go next. Here you can see all the markets that we're in. The ones that are outlined in red boxes, you can see the MR logo. We actually have our own property management in-house. So what that means is you get the full Marshall Reddick real estate experience throughout. So what you get from the beginning, you get all the way to the end. All the other markets that we're in, we have our vendors that we've been working with for years. So what that means to my clients is that it is a trust system of consistency. So it's going to be one of those things where if you ever have an issue or a problem, just CC me and we help get it all taken care of. So from beginning to end, we have everything that you would need in these darker gray areas is where we help people buy and sell. So here is how we choose where to invest. So you can see that we look at job market, vacancy rate, economic diversity, housing affordability. We're not having people buy and sell in Malibu. Is it a landlord-friendly state? Everyone here knows that California is what? Is it a landlord-friendly state? No, it's not. But all the areas that we are, especially Texas, is very business-friendly, very landlord-friendly, which is important to us. We go to places where there are usually universities that are around large areas of cities, usually capitals. Reliable property management is the most important because that's who babysits your baby after it's purchased. So it doesn't matter if you got the most phenomenal deal up front, if it's not there to be taken care of, you're going to be in a pickle. So we, from beginning to end, we can take care of you, all of your real estate needs. So now that I've given you a nutshell about what we do and what we're all about and how I can help you in California and across the U.S., I want to introduce Seth. He is our eyes and boots on ground in Texas and very experienced. I'm going to let him chime in here. Seth, are you there?
I'm here. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. I'll let you take it away.
All right, great. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And just wanted to go over a little bit about my bio here. I've been a realtor in Austin since 2012, as you can see. I actually am from New York City. I went to school in upstate New York, received my Bachelor of Fine Arts. And since I've been a realtor, I've been continuing my education as a realtor. I've received some designations, as you can see. Actually the accredited CRE is a little bit of a mistake. It's CNE, Certified Negotiation Expert, and the ABR is what I just got. So this all are great sort of things to have when you represent, especially buyers in the negotiation tactics. And if you can see the last paragraph here, I grew up in the restaurant business, so I'm very familiar with hospitality. I offer full service real estate needs, services. So it means that I'm there with you from the beginning until the end. I hold your hand. I have assistants that I use to really, guide you through the whole process, just to make you feel comfortable. And so a little bit about the agenda this evening. You met our team, Tanya and I. I'm going to explain a little bit about Austin, Texas, the economics, obviously the quality of life. Going to go into and basically conclude the session with actual hand-picked properties, so you can see what the financials look like. And this is where Tanya is actually going to take it away a little more.
All right, you guys. So, a little bit about our property management. Since it's in-house, it's across the board, everything here locally in California and in Texas. We wanted to keep a very easy structure for our clients. So, we take care of the leasing, the management, and sales in Texas and in California, the local office there. We do something very simple. It's only 7% property management fee, 50% of the first month's rent to get at least. We do not have any upcharges in our management, which is amazing. We don't have any in-house vendors that we use where we get a percentage of it. It's very clear. There are no hidden fees. If you're interested in learning more about our property management and our fee structure, go ahead and in the box, please type "send me the fee structure," and I'll go ahead and me or my assistant will go ahead and send it to you for easy steps. So basically, we specialize in residential. We also do have some ability to do commercial, but those are very far and few in between and a completely different animal. So love to have conversations with you, but in a sense, like essentially, it's a one-stop shop. Here are the fees. There's never an upcharge, like I said, but just go ahead and say, send me the fee structure. And instead of spending all this time on it, we'll just share. There's so many advantages. We split costs and fees with you, like for late fees. That way, there's no incentive for us to place tenants that don't perform. It just makes our life more difficult. All right, Seth, back to you.
All right, perfect. Now, the greater Austin area, when we talk about Austin, it consists of 5 counties. And that really plays into the statistics that you'll read about Austin. Now, Williamson County is huge, as you can see. It's way up north. Travis County, right in the center. That's when people talk about Austin, they're usually talking about Travis County. Hayes County down south, that's the Buda, San Marcos, and Kyle area. Bastrop out east, and Caldwell County is a lot of farmland, also farmland in Bastrop County as well. Now, as you can see down, unless you've haven't been paying attention to the news, I mean, this little quote down in the bottom, number 1 for the 3rd year in a row, Forbes lists the fastest growing cities, is absolutely true. We're going to go into detail about that in the next 2 slides. All right, so here's a little glimpse of life in Austin. As you can see, it offers a lot, right? So just the skyline has grown tremendously. The top row. There was actually a moratorium on the skyline, and after a while, well, essentially, the Austin government didn't want to allow buildings to build above a certain height, and what was happening was it was limiting the tax, the growth of the city. So when they lifted the ban, essentially the city started growing exponentially, and that skyline that has changed over the years, and essentially those buildings have really gone up in the past 5 years. So if you can imagine the growth in this city just in the past 5 years, the skyline is a great example of that. We have tons of musical festivals here. The Austin City Limits Musical Festival, South by Southwest just happened here. The streets just closed down, and hundreds of venues just have music. We are the music capital of the world. We have lots of green belts. As you can see, there's pictures of water. Capitol building is here, and of course UT, huge Texas Longhorn fans here, diehard fans. So. And if in case you haven't known, Austin has doubled in population every 25 years or less since 1840. So that's incredible. 45% of adults hold BA or higher degree, very highly educated bunch of folks here, and median family income 66. So we're up there in the median family income.
And that is something that is across like Austin in general in suburbs. When you go into specific cities like Austin proper, those annual median income prices rents go up by about 20,000 or more for households of 4. So it just really depends. This is just in general of Austin and suburbs.
Right. So yeah, that'll encompass all those 5 counties. And again, just projecting the growth in the Austin Round Rock area. Austin really wasn't equipped, they didn't see this coming, so they've been handling it as best they can. We have things in place to try to help these change, help the growth out. A lot of new highways going up and accommodating the growth here. So you can see the projected growth, close to 4 million. And then next slide.
So it's kind of going over, everything as we were saying, the Capitol, Dow. If you want to talk specifically about any of these companies that are all about Silicon Hills.
Yeah, and to touch on that Silicon Hills comment, we are known as Silicon Hills. It's sort of a play on words, as in Silicon Valley. We're becoming the next Silicon Valley. So they call it Silicon Hills. Here in Austin, we have a lot of terrain, beautiful hill country, and all these companies have moved here. And one sort of anecdotal story is that if you've been reading on Amazon, they would like to find a new city. And, 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, Austin would have never even been on the radar for Amazon. And Austin made it onto the top 20 list of cities that Amazon is interested in moving to. And the Mayor Adler talked a lot about this. I don't particularly know if it'll be good for the city, but it just is an indicator of how much growth there has been in this city. And this map is a great example. I mean, I don't even think this is the scope of all the companies, obviously, but you could just tell from all the way up in Cedar Park down to Hayes County, Buda. There's a Amazon distribution center down there. So lots of jobs coming in Austin here.
Yeah, and the reason for that is it's very business friendly. A fun fact is that they don't have state income tax. So that's why businesses are running towards there.
And about cost of living, I guess I can definitely attest to this. Just a good example of, here we are at the 92.8 percentile. I have seen, like I said, I can attest to this. I've actually been renting up until about a month ago. I just finally bought a condo, but I've seen my rental rates increase exponentially. All my friends who are still renting, unfortunately. But yeah, home values, as we can explain in the next few slides as well. All right.
So a little bit about this slide is it's pulled from NARPM, which is National Association of Realtors. It basically shows the median home price of the past 20 years. So you can see, or longer, I guess, 1992, all the way up to 2016 here's the data of the average home price. And so the way Marshall Reddick uses this, as you can see on the bottom, see investments at marshallreddick.com, learn how to use the property e-class. I think that this is really important to read because it really shows how we analyze properties. It's all based on the median home price of each specific market, and that's very different from Memphis, from California to Florida to Indianapolis. Austin particularly has been on the uprise, as you can see. What happened in 2008, you guys? There was that recession. If you look at California, Florida, Arizona, There was a huge valley that went down and then it started to incline again. But as you can see in Texas, it stayed very stable. It slightly was impacted. There's a lot of reasons as to why. And Texas makes its own rules, just like they have big hats and big belt buckles, right? They make their own rules. In the lending industry, they weren't able to refinance, cash out refinance more than, I think it was 80% of their property value. And in other areas, remember, we were able to max out at like 100% of the credit line of our homes, which put us in financial trouble. Texas made their own rules, which kept it very stable. Again, looking out for number one themselves. And I'm so happy that they did that because it kept stability. But as you can see on these heat charts, these are the brackets of where we classify A, B, and C class neighborhoods. So we're pretty much going to be focusing on only ABC. We don't do D-class properties. Luxury typically doesn't make sense unless you're getting into a specialty market. So you'll notice that we stray away from that to cater to the majority of where you're going to have tenant pools that would benefit you most. Did you want to add anything to this, Seth, before I go to the next slide?
No, I think you pretty much summed it up pretty well.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. And one big advantage in Austin is that employers are able to recruit people to move into the area as well as find workers locally. Very true. I mean, Austin is a transplant town. Okay, we've got tons of people from outside of Austin. A lot of people moving from within Texas, but there's the top the top cities where people are moving from would be New York, New York, North Carolina, Chicago. A lot of people from Chicago. Denver and Austin has a big back and forth between them because they're very similar. Obviously California, and we have such huge companies here. I mean, Apple, Dell, all these companies, Facebook, Dropbox, they're all recruiting from out of state. And this just gives an idea of how, putting into numbers the growth, a few more numbers of the growth as far as home values. And I mean, home prices increased 5.4% to close to 300,000 in 2017. And look at the last paragraph here. So that's important to note, 12.2% increase. And that's in the city of Austin. And like Tanya was explaining earlier, and it's important to sort of single out the city of Austin and differentiate it from the other areas outside of Austin, Williamson County, Bastrop, Caldwell, those counties and neighborhoods within those counties, because you're not going to see the 12.2% outside of that area. So some predictions here. And, one thing about Austin is obviously the economic growth is the main reason why people are coming here. They're just, it's very stable in that regard. Home prices continue to supersede income growth rate, pushing more buyers into the suburbs. We are seeing that sprawl, and affordability has become a factor. That's just, I guess, comes with the territory. The city of Austin is trying to come up with, again, in preparation and in sorry, I don't do these webinars very often, but in preparation for the growth, they're trying to come up with ways to stop all the sprawl into the suburbs and really focus on the infrastructure within Austin and keep people within the city. But yeah, I mean, as the years go by and the population grows and Austin's able to accommodate the people, eventually the market will correct itself. But for now, we are seeing that sprawl because of the affordability factor.
Just as we do everywhere, cities continue to grow. I remember when Orange County used to be way out there from LA, and then now Riverside is way out there from Orange County. But that's the next affordable area where job growth can happen and land is there to develop upon. So it's just a natural progression.
All right, excellent. And I would pay attention here to the top left slide there, increase of 4%. Year over year, we're seeing steady anywhere from 4 to 7% increase in the median price for single family homes. I mean, that's very, you can count on that, and very stable. I'll get into other areas where there's actually even higher increase, but 4%, is a good steady increase, I think. And average number of days spent on the market, if you can scroll, if you just look to the right of the page, 71 days. Again, that's for all the greater Austin area. That's for all 5 counties. When you start going into the city of Austin, that number drops considerably to around 49. And in some, in some, the busy buying season, that number will drop into the 30s as well. So, and then actually, if you just go back to the last one, an important note here is months of inventory. So they have the asterisk there as a balanced market. 2 months of inventory. One thing to note, which is very important, is that is considered a seller's market, which means that there's very low inventory and high buyer demand. So 2 months of inventory is a seller's market, 4 months would be neutral, and then 6 months would be a buyer's market. And we've maintained around a 2-month inventory, and we've sometimes dropped below, but 2 months of inventory reflects the median price. So in neighborhoods where it's less than the median price, say in the low 200s, that months of inventory will drop. And then, of course, in the luxury market, it will be more of a buyer's market because there's a lot of development and a lot of homes being built. But so that 2 months represents the median price. But it's important to note that when looking at the Austin market and what kind of environment we're working with. All right. Yeah, definitely rents on the rise, steady increases throughout the years. That's one of the things to sort of note when you purchase a property. I mean, it wouldn't come as a surprise to the tenants if you're raising the rents, year over year. And it's just part of the demand of the city. So if you're buying a property, now, and it wouldn't be that out of the question that you'd be increasing it by possibly $200 in the next few years.
Yeah, it's something that the property management division absolutely tracks and follows. They go along with what the market norm is. Once it comes time to renew your lease, they're going to review it and then send out a new agreement to renew the lease for you to make sure that you're getting market rent in a manner that wouldn't impact you in any way. We wouldn't want to scare the tenant away from renewing the lease. We would want to make sure that it was all making sense for all parties involved, and you to get your highest returns.
All right, so why Austin, Texas? And obviously we've touched on economic growth, pro-business environment, the diverse economy, especially the high-paying jobs. I mean, tech industries, as you can see from that map of the companies that are here in Austin, considered the Silicon Hills jobs. Obviously, the growth, quality of life. I can say firsthand that even though I do love my hometown of New York City, I moved down to Austin to escape the rat race, and it's a much better quality of life, a little slower. People are lot nicer, and I think that there's just so much to offer. Just like New York City has its own stuff to offer for me when I was growing up, but now I just want a little slower tempo, and there's just so much to do, so many outlets, and there's the whole state of Texas really offers a lot. All right, so here's the kind of meat and potatoes, and we are going to go over the properties that we have handpicked as examples for you.
I know this is the part that everybody's coming on here for. They want to see what's going on, what types of returns they can get. We are very specific in how we analyze properties for you guys. So please do pay attention as to how Seth will go over describing the income that comes into your bank account on a monthly basis versus what we project over a 15-year return. All those things are very different. So let's pay close attention to those line items, guys. This is a map of what we're going to be talking about, where the properties are that we typically share with our clients on our website at marshallreddick.com under our properties tab. Happy to go over all that with you guys, but you guys can see up here at the top left, Liberty Hill. It's a lovely area, newer, developing city, great sports, highly sought after. Georgetown, where the college is, as we make our way down this line of the 35, you can see Round Rock, Pflugerville, Austin proper. And as we go down, we're going to go over each of these areas. Seth's going to talk a little bit about which specific suburb offers what, okay?
Right, and actually if you stay on this slide, if you remember from the first few slides, there was a review of the 5 counties, and if you look at this top circle there, you see Georgetown, Round Rock, Pflugerville, Leander. Some of Pflugerville touches Williamson County, but mostly Round Rock, Leander, and Georgetown are Williamson County. And then as you move further south, you got the Travis, Buda and Kyle, and San Marcos are all in Hayes County, and then New Braunfels is separate. And then see Bastrop over to the east, and then Caldwell down in southeast past Lockhart. All right, excellent. So my first pick, I picked this for a few reasons, and I think it's a great example of the potential in Austin. Reason being, let me go give an overview. This is located in South Austin, zip code 78745. It's below the river. If you were to look at the map, you see Town Lake sort of divides north and south in Austin. So this is considered a South Austin, heart of South Austin duplex. And as you can tell from this cover photo, this has been completely remodeled. And actually, you won't even recognize it from the pictures of the old listing. And so you can see at the top right here, list price, $539,000. You're looking at a 30% down payment just to get more cash flow, put in a little bit more equity. Initial repair cost, I put that as $1,000. That's pretty low, but reason being, I mean, it's turnkey. I don't even think you'd have to maybe change the locks, and you'd have to change the locks and do very minimal initial repair cost. So, and Tanya, do you want me to review all the?
Yeah, let me run through how I go over with clients on how to read this. So we have the list price, we have loan cost estimates for the lender. If you're getting the loan, if you're doing cash, there's a button you can press that will convert everything to a cash purchase. But for the investment capital, you'll see that you need about $175,000 out of pocket. Do we all see that in the first square? The rent for this property combined for both units, our property management has estimated about $3,200. So
and
here,
if I could just sorry to cut you off just a little bit. And for those who are joining us who are new to investing or buying properties, or maybe, you know, just not an old hand at this, what I tell all my clients when I work with them is to remember that the down payment and the closing costs are, as you can see, separate line items. And so that's just one thing that's important to note, that the closing costs are not included in the down payment. So
Correct. So, and even to dive further into that, if you have less than 4 loans, you're only required to put down 25% due to Fannie and Freddie guidelines for a duplex. So that is something that you can also adjust on our website specifically for you. These rates are based on a 5.25 interest rate. Interest rates will continue to go up. We're not able to lock in rates until you have an accepted offer on a property. So all these things are variables that will adjust specifically for you as an individual based on your FICO, your debt to income ratio, all that stuff. But this is in a nutshell how it would look for the majority of investors. So here's the rents, taxes. All of these numbers are specific to county and city. So on our website, these are specific. They're not just random percentages. Seth has gone in and pulled them straight from the county. The insurance is just an estimate. Our property management fee, as you guys can see, is the 7%. There are no HOA fees, which is something that we try to avoid for our clients unless they're very minimal. Landscaping, all that fun stuff, we just will have the homeowners do. So here you have your total monthly expenses. These are things that are going to come out no matter what. So at the end of the day, in your bank account, you should be receiving about $276. So now we're going to go into these line items that I was talking about, the 8% of maintenance and 8% of vacancy. So if you were to take 8% of 365 days, why? Because that's how many calendar days there are in a year, unless we're doing a leap year. That comes down to a certain amount of days that you can anticipate it to be vacant. So this will change. For an A-class property, it's 8. For a B-class property, it's 10. And for a C-class property, it's 13. So you'll start noticing that as we go through properties. And then this lease fee is something that we account for over a 15-year term. We're not anticipating tenant turnover every 12 months, like a 12-month lease. We anticipate people to probably stay on average 18 months or more, right? That's the goal. We place the correct tenants that want to stay. And that way you can see that after you factor in all of this, your monthly cash flow with all of these expenses in the future would be a negative $334. So I hope that that makes sense, the monthly income versus the monthly cash flow when we account for our very specific line items for what the future will hold. So in your bank account, you should be receiving the 276, but as we look at it over a 15-year period, the way that we analyze properties, it's all important to analyze properties apple to apple. So I would be happy to dive into this with you on a one-on-one consultation to go in a little bit further on that. And then so as you can see here in the green, the 15-year projected profit, this isn't factoring in the gradual growth rate for appreciation in the market, principal pay down. What it is not accounting for is taxes, tax incentives that you might be receiving. And so the 15-year ROI, you get the ROI when you sell. So please type any questions that you may have in the box so that I can specifically answer you.
And what I wanted to highlight about this particular property, which is why I uploaded this one, was if you look at the agent remarks down on the bottom left. So you see incredibly rare opportunity in 78745, renovated, blah, blah, blah. Ideal short-term rental setup or use as an additional living area, extra rental income. And that's coming from the 1-bed, 1-bath garage conversion with its own private entrance, separate AC. It's already been, according to the agent, City of Austin permitted. So one thing that a lot of people are doing is renting short-term rentals if that's something that you can arrange with the property manager or on your own, I don't know. But people will pay top dollar for that 1-bed, 1-bath garage. It's called an ADU, accessory dwelling unit. And I don't know if that, Tanya can answer me or sort of answer your questions in regard to what the property manager is capable of. But, I don't know, is that something that's within the sort of realm of property management with Marshall Reddick?
What is the specific question?
Well, in regard to the short-term rentals.
Yeah, that's something that could take place. We like to typically place people long term because of less turnover and wear and tear. So it could be ideal depending on the owner how they want to treat it based on this location because it is so center. It could be used as an Airbnb type thing for
Exactly.
short-term rental. It just depends on each individual of an investor of how they want to utilize this space, but that is definitely up for conversation.
Right. Yeah, the Airbnbs and stuff like that for the festivals that come in. So Tanya, did you want to break this down, or would you like me to break it down?
I don't know that it's necessary to break it down. I feel everyone is an investor and they're savvy about the numbers because the line items are all right there. But if you wanted to highlight the monthly income for these properties and specific reasons why you pick these, like you just did about like where it's placed, and
Yeah,
then people can type in questions and maybe I'll chime in with them if there's anything specific they wanted to know about these line items.
yeah, absolutely. So this is another South Austin, same zip code. 78745 is a fairly large zip code, but yeah, South Austin, south of the river. Another duplex, obviously, and the I guess the perks of this one, close to Zilker Park, which is a beautiful park in South Austin, and it's already had its foundation repair, transferable warranty. This has a lot to offer, and I think the appreciation is where it's at. The monthly income coming in at 341.95. As we mentioned before, and I think it's important to realize that in Austin, your monthly income might not be as high as, say, in other areas in the country, or even outside of in other cities in Texas. But as we were trying to demonstrate in the past slides, the appreciation rates and the increase, you saw the 12.2 increase in median sales price in the city of Austin. I mean, this is where your money is going to come in. And as she mentioned before, the 15-year projected profit does not reflect take into account the appreciation rate or the rental rate as well, the rising rental rate. So.
Yes. And also, I wanted to point out these are all based on 30-year fixed rate mortgages. All of these returns, on a 30-year fixed rate. Okay. So did you go over all these highlights like the transferable warranty on the foundation repairs, etc., that was a cool highlight on this property?
Yeah, I mean, this is why I put this as an A class, not because of the foundation work, but if you read the remarks, beautifully updated, all the fixtures, the cabs, granite countertops, luxury vinyl plank floor, tiled fireplace, all these attributes make up the A class instead of a B class, because when we mark something in a B class, it means it still has a lot of potential to update and upgrade. In this case, they've already taken care of a lot of those specs. So this is why we put it in the A class. So your initial repair costs wouldn't be quite as high, as you can see all the way to top there, the third line down. Initial repair costs wouldn't be quite as high as, say, a B-class property.
Perfect. Okay, let's see here. All right, tell us a little bit about this city.
Okay, Buda. This is south of Travis County. This is in Hayes County. If you are traveling down Interstate 35, this is the first city that you will come upon. This city has been growing exponentially, and it has a quaint little downtown. But there's also farmland in Buda. So, there's the downtown, and then it's kind of sprawled out. A lot of people live in Buda and Kyle, which is one city south, and commute into Austin every single day, and they typically go up Interstate 35 to get into Austin. The reason that I included this listing is because this is actually, as you can see, a brand new duplex. They're building a community here. I believe there's 55 units. A lot of them have sold already, and they've been raising the prices a little bit as they've been selling out. But as you can see the specs here, I mean, this builder, Matham, builds, they're like the cookie cutter kings. They just build the same, they put their stamp on everything. All the duplexes are always the same. So you get the same quality no matter where they build in Texas. As you can see, stained concrete floors, granite countertops and kitchens and baths, sprinkler system. It's a great opportunity to get in. If you look at the monthly income over on the right, $588. And that is actually with me being conservative with a rent of $1,495 per side. And so I think this is a great opportunity to get into an area where the taxes aren't as absurd as Austin, and where I think that you'll find tenants consistently who don't quite want to live in the hustle bustle of Austin, but are okay with living outside of it and driving maybe 10, 12 minutes into South Austin, or maybe 15 minutes into downtown Austin.
Okay. So on this property, the monthly cash flow, monthly income that you would be receiving is about $588. So does everybody see that off to the right-hand side? So that's what this property would produce for you in your bank account, and on the long-term monthly cash flow for like your cash on cash return type stuff, this is the portion that you would look at the very end after you account for all expenses projected.
Yeah, and again, that was with the conservative numbers at $1,495 per month. I try to be conservative when I put these numbers up, just so it's not misleading. All right. Did you want to
talk a little bit about what Georgetown offers?
Georgetown, yeah. So you can see it's very north of Austin. Georgetown has a lot of golf courses, a lot of green belts, southwestern, beautiful downtown area, very quaint, old historic homes, and it's north of there is Sun City, Texas. I don't really go into Sun City all that much, but it's just a beautiful area. Very great schools up there as well. So.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So here we're going into the single families, and 212 Woodstone Drive in Georgetown. I labeled this a B class because there is still some updating that could be done. But still, I mean, if you look in the agent remarks, large living room, beam ceiling. I wish we can see more photos, but yeah,
you can when you go to our website and click through all the pictures. But this is just the screenshot. They can click through everything that you've uploaded.
Yeah, definitely go check out the pictures. And coming in at a good list price, just under $200,000, renting at $1,595. So Georgetown, like I said, good schools up in Georgetown. lot of great neighborhoods. It's considered the suburbs for sure, but there, like I said, there is a nice downtown. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else more to say about Georgetown other than it's a good place to be if you don't quite want to be inside Austin Central. And you're still close enough to the major employers to be able to have a relatively short commute. All the employers like Dell and all the other Apple. Apple has a huge campus. They're opening up another campus, so it's a good place to be if you still want to be up north and close to the
Can
employers.
you give everybody an idea time-wise for commute from Georgetown to those areas of Austin?
Well, I would say, I mean, it depends. I mean, it depends. Like
On
probably a
rush
20.
hour and no rush hour, just those two would be great.
Yeah, non-rush hour, you're looking at about 25 minutes. Rush hour, probably about 35.
Wow, that's
But
nothing compared to here.
yeah, exactly. I mean, but one thing to know is Georgetown is very far away from, say, Buda, which was where that duplex was. So that's on the opposite
Well, that's
spectrum.
totally south of Austin proper, yeah.
Exactly.
So Round Rock is a city a little bit below Georgetown, as you guys can see from that map. We're still north of Austin proper.
Right. And so Round Rock is divided into Round Rock East and Round Rock West. Okay. There's a lot of new development in both Georgetown and Round Rock. And as you can see, we have the Dell baseball field. They don't have a picture for the HEB center in Cedar Park just next door, but yeah, Round Rock has a beautiful downtown as well. A lot of great shopping. Um, and as you can see, so Georgetown and right above Round Rock, a lot of those companies that I was mentioning earlier are in Round Rock. So that's where the commute from Georgetown to Round Rock would be.
So you had
Yeah,
mentioned HEB. People aren't familiar with what HEBs are. I know I didn't until I started learning about it. So you want to tell us a little bit about that?
yeah. Excuse me. HEB is basically the main grocer,
Mm-hmm.
huge grocer. And there's the HEB Center in Cedar Park where there's just town center there, and let's see, they have hockey there. The farm teams play there,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah. So,
Nice.
all right. So this is in the Kensington neighborhood of Round Rock. And I labeled this a B class, but if you go on the website and look at it, I mean, they have huge nice vaulted ceilings. It's a really nice house. This particular neighborhood usually is renting above $1 per square foot, and this will be as you can see in the rent, this will be sort of at the top of the market for this particular neighborhood, 1625. But it definitely warrants a 1625 rent, and so monthly income coming in 226. Yeah, just a nice example of a single family home that you can. And again, when I see these homes it's hard to explain this if you haven't. What I do is when I analyze these neighborhoods, a lot of people, especially investors, want to know, well, can I get these properties at under list price? Like, how much of a discount can I buy these properties on? In Austin, even in Round Rock, I mean, these homes come off the market fairly quickly. So a lot of times, if these homes don't come off the market in a week or two, that's a better time to start sort of trying to see if you can get under list price. But again, the months of inventory coming in at 2 months of inventory are very reflective of how popular Austin is. So this home has been on the market for 5 days, and if it were to stay on the market, then I would say, yeah, we can, probably come in a little under list price. But I kind of wanted to touch on that because we didn't really go over the
writing of offer strategy. So yeah, when we analyze properties, you guys, it's very data driven, and Seth will be able to pull data from their what we have as an MLS. They have, what is it, HAR?
here in Austin.
Yeah.
No, we use the MLS.
It's also
Well,
okay. So I know in San Antonio it's HAR, but so basically what they'll do is they'll be able to pull days on market, how many dollars percentage wise over list price do homes go for in those neighborhoods. So it's very specific. So if you want to have the winning offer, we're going to show you data that would support a reasonable purchase offer. So it's going to be very transparent. You're going to be an expert based on Seth's expertise with the market data that is provided.
all right, so we come to Pflugerville, and Pflugerville is a huge, huge area, and as you can see, they have enough space to fit that huge water park there. They also have a really beautiful downtown area, and one of the attractions of Pflugerville is definitely their schools in that area. They have very top-rated schools, especially around so where it says Pflugerville, where the two L's are, that would be Route 130, which is the fast highway, the high-speed highway. And so around where it even says Pflugerville, there's a lot of great schools around there. That would be the basically why a lot of parents are moving out there to Pflugerville.
Yeah, it's a very sought after community for that. And for that reason, it reflects that properties go very quickly. So when we do analyze properties and put them up on our website, they go quickly. So what I suggest is that you look at properties that are already under contract or have sold within the past 5 months, because that'll give you a really good idea of price point, number one, rental values, and the types of returns that they can give you. So I don't believe that we have any, nope, we don't. We don't have any examples today to show you, but you can go on our website and see properties that have sold or are under contract currently.
Yeah, and in addition, if you speak with Tanya and curious about any of these cities, I can always send data.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and then New Braunfels is in between San Antonio and Austin, Texas. It's a really awesome place. There's a huge, one of the world's largest water parks and resorts. A lot of new construction, very well sought after. It's a great commuter town because it's central to Austin and San Antonio. So we do have some new builds on our website, but they have currently sold out, and the construction for the new ones are so far out that we wanted to share properties with you since we had limited time. But New Braunfels is a very desirable community as well, with a huge medical center and lots of job opportunities. It sustains itself as a city so that you don't have to commute to other areas. One thing I wanted to point out here is that we have market data packs available on our website for all the markets that we're in. So I think it's really neat that you can go there and get a compiled pack of information as to why we have thrived in each of these markets for so long and why we're suggesting them. Do you guys have any specific questions? I know we had said it was going to be about an hour, but please go ahead and start typing your questions so that Seth and I can get those answered for you. What I wanted to share a little bit about is a complimentary consultation. And what I do is I kind of just like walk you through everything from beginning to end. We create a plan. I have clients that are ready to buy tomorrow. I have clients that we're building a savings plan where it's going to be about 2 years, 2.5 years before they even pull the trigger. But we become lifelong investment friends. where we set you up on a path that's going to make sense for you and give you all the tools and resources. We are not a books on tape type of company. We like to give, and then a lot of my clients are repeat buyers and they refer their family and friends. And it's because we're never upselling, we're very transparent, and all the data is provided on our website. So everything is at your fingertips as much as you want to be a sponge and absorb all of the information that we freely provide to you. We welcome it. We welcome your questions. As you can see, Seth is very open to sharing his time and expertise, as am I. But we're here for you to make your investments successful. So if you want to lean on us as much as you can throughout the process, we are here for you. My phone number is there. You guys can also go ahead and put your best phone number and day of time that you want to connect with me. There's only one of Seth and I, so lots of you guys. So please just let us know what day and time would work well for you, and we can go from there and also dive into specifics. So again, go on the website, find properties that are appealing to you. It's okay that they're under contract. We can duplicate it. We can create a specific search just for you. A few people were emailing me and typing throughout the presentation that the property isn't available on our website, and that's because Seth just uploaded them. It just, they go so quickly. So we would have to target, not only would we have to get you ready by getting you pre-approved so that you could be a candidate to even submit an offer, just, let's get the ball rolling for you. We're here to help you. But that's pretty much, in a nutshell, the whole presentation. Let me go to the questions box here and see if we have anything. Thanks, Jeff. Oh, thank you, guys. Okay, so it seems like a lot of people are saying thanks. So let's see what kind of questions we have besides thank yous.
Hey, Tanya, I actually can't see any of the questions if
I'm going
they.
to read them. Yeah, let's see. So I don't know. So how is the annual appreciation from a duplex compared to a single family? That's a really good question, Kai. That is all in our Marshall Reddick How to Analyze a Property book. If you guys are interested in that, I can definitely send that to you to read. But those are broken down in different categories between single family and multifamily. But a short answer is single families historically tend to appreciate better than multifamily units. But multifamily units tend to cash flow better than single family units. Okay, Seth, you could answer this. You've been there for a while. Can you tell us a little bit about any of the potentials of natural disasters? Like California has earthquakes, Florida has hurricanes. What types of potential natural disasters do you typically see in the area?
So in the past, I've been here 7.5 years. The two most prominent would be, well, number one would be flooding. And in general, I mean, you can buy a property that's outside of a flood zone. So that would be a good thing to look into when you're buying properties. But flooding as a natural disaster is the most common. And then there were pretty bad fires out in Bastrop. And, Austin and Texas is very dry. So where there's a lot of trees and open area, we do get, I mean, there's huge wildfire. But I haven't seen any other wildfires in the immediate vicinity.
Yeah, that's just natural,
So
you guys. And that is all stuff that we analyze up front for you. So when we run our insurance quotes for you, we'll know whether or not it's in a flood zone. And we wouldn't obviously put that on our website for our clients to go and hand pick. So that's not really a concern. We'll catch that before we even, move forward. The insurance quote is part of it. So we will give you a recommendation for an insurance agent. But basically, what I hear as well, besides the fires in a rural area, just like we see everywhere, it's not that terribly common. And that happens. But I think one thing that I've seen is like hail. Hail happens sometimes, and those are all handled with insurance claims. That's why we have insurance. But tornadoes, not not so much.
So much in the Central Texas
Yeah, it's more in
area. So,
Central.
so what? Yeah, and that's what's really great, actually,
So
about Austin is that we are void of a lot of
a lot
the
of stuff. Yeah.
exactly a lot of natural disasters that occur in other pockets of the country, even in other pockets that are relatively close to Austin.
hmm But there's so many positive things about Texas. Everywhere has natural disasters, but I know that they're very minimal. Goodness, you guys don't really have very many questions. You guys are also very polite. You guys have a lot of thank yous. They're saying that you're doing a great job, Seth. So I applaud you.
Thank you.
And thank you also very much for your time this evening. I hope you have a great evening, and I can't wait to get to know you guys a little bit more when we have our one-on-one chats.
Yeah, and since everybody's saying thank you to us, I would like to, just
Thank,
say thank you to everyone else for joining us this evening.
yeah, thank you all so much for your time, and we'll be in touch very soon. Have a great evening, guys.
Good night.
Good night.